Well, hello, you trader nerds. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is a fabulous Thursday and life is good. Real traders never trade alone. We've got Ken in the house. Good to see you, Ken. DB, we got Drew, we got Hal, we got Skip, we got Schwaz, and Stefan, better known as Dr. Z. Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great, great day. And the markets are doing, and what I just did here is we have a scalping session coming up for our Muscadine Mafia members at 1:30 Eastern time today. So that should be good. So what I went ahead and did is I did I hadn't done it yet. I'm doing the um, big green monster for yesterday to project levels for today. So let's finish doing that. So let's now go, then we'll go here and we'll get the Fibonacci retracement and we'll go from here to the middle of here and up to the zero line. If I remember how to do this correctly. Okay. Then we move this, activate drawing. We move the zero to the 200 line, zero to the 200. I know this is wacky, wacky stuff. And then we move the 100 to that little point there. And we'll escape that. And then we'll get rid of this drawing. And since it's not a big green month, it's not the monthly, it's the daily, we'll kind of go from there. So let's see how this looks on the volume profile. See if it gives us any meaningful information. To me, it has in the past. So this is volume profile for the E-minis on the monthlies. As you can see, it does a great job. We drew this back on the first of the month. And isn't it amazing how the monthly just time and time again just shows support and resistance time and time again. I don't know how it works, why it works, but it's amazing thing. So we are overbought for the fair value zone below. However, the point of control is here on, so it combines market profile with volume profile, and it is at the point of control. So let's go to the NASDAQ and see if our little daily thing gives us any indication at all. Let's make this a little bigger. Yeah, I'm not so sure that it gives us as much stuff on the daily, but that monthly is spot on. I guess that's a little support there. Then it wasn't. Then this one was support. Then it wasn't. Then this was support. And then this was resistance, but it popped out there. And now it's resistance, resistance at those areas. So it's a neat little levels to look at, especially when I'm scalping. I like having it on the page at least. I think it's really good. So let's go back to our regular chart. All right. So it gives us some levels in there. Okay, it looks better there, doesn't it? Looks better. A little bit of support right there. A little bit of resistance right there. So NASDAQ is flat, y'all, down 2.2 points. Now down 6 points. Now down 13 points. It's a crash. So not a lot going on. The E-minis up 18 points, 18 and a half points, up 0.36%. Still in its opening range, and it is hanging out at VWAP. VWAP is an inflection point. We can see that. And the opening 30-minute range is support. And it's just flipping there between the hourly mid-band and VWAP. And one of these is a pivot point. I forget which pivot points I used, but it's some pivot point that I must have thought important to put on the chart because it's there. Look at this. VIX was down to 28 and now it's up to 31. And if you're still selling options, it's probably a good time for you, even though VIX last Friday was up to 50. Oh, speaking of Friday, we will not have a session tomorrow because it is Good Friday and the overall markets will be closed. I think the futures may still be trading, but it will be light because everybody will be in the Hamptons, baby, except for me. Where are we going to be, Beth? We're going to be at Applebee's, right? Beth? We're going to be at Applebee's, right? Yeah. All right. AD is at what? AD is at 266. It has been as high as 369 and was as low as 138. It made a high back at 1118 and the market matched it. Now, what's this? The market got back to the same level, but AD did not get there. That's interesting. So I would have done a short there and we would have done okay if we were scalping that. That's kind of cool. All right, let's look at linear regression. Pull it down. Linear regression, look at this. Support becomes resistance. We had a down move, we had an up move, and then a continuation of the down move. And now it's up just a little bit, and it's using this level as a little bit of support. But keep in mind, President Cheeto, as much as we love him, he is a tweeter or a Truth Social, and any of this could change on a moment's dime. Let's look at Financial Juice today and see what it's telling us about the markets. Let's see, Financial Juice. Trump, very confident trade deal with European Union. Now, with that coming out, that's at 12:05. It's 12:14. I would have thought that the market would have come up a little bit from that point. You would think that would be very bullish. U.S. equities edged higher. Doesn't look like there's much movement there, does it? This is that the dollar? And this is the S&P. Oh, this is crude oil. CFDs on crude oil. U.S. equities edge higher as traders pour through the latest batch of earnings reports as they try to gauge the impact of Trump's trade war. All right, so that's interesting. But I guess here's where he said that that would happen, and then shaboom, it comes up a little bit. So it went from 52.80 to 52.96 right now. So it did go up a little bit. So you got to kind of watch the news with this joker. U.S. mortgage rate surged by most in a year as tariffs hit market. U.S. Secretary Bessent has cautioned White House officials on attempts to fire Fed's Powell. Has cautioned White House officials on attempts to fire Fed's Powell. Well, that's interesting. Some ECB governors already see high probability of a June cut. Wow. That would have been bullish. So you got to watch the news with this joker. Definitely it's out there. All right, so don't forget, we will come back at 1:15 for our Muscadine, 1:30 Eastern time for our Muscadine Mafia members. And to the rest of y'all, I will see y'all Monday.